AOA podcast back for another episode. Frankie C is here with us. What up, big dog?
What is happening?
We have a missing submarine.
We do.
That is it.
That's the whole show.
It's a one topic show because there is so much to this one topic, including the latest on how the search and rescue is going.
This might be the first one topic show I think we've ever done.
It's a big one. We've got past lawsuits, facts and information about the submarine itself, facts and information on who's on board. We have an idiot stepson. And no, we're not just talking about the Blink-182 concert tweet. There's another tweet to tell you about. One. It's a lot.
Okay, I'm not aware of all this. I don't know what to expect here.
Exactly. Oh. Expect the unexpected. That, my friends, is a podcast.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If you say so.
Also, I'm dying.
Yeah, you don't. You've looked better.
We're fighting through it. Michael Jordan flu game. I'm here for it.
Anyway.
I'm here for it. And I got to hear about Janine has a migraine. Give me a break. I'm half dead. I'm here. Yeah. Migraine. People missing, Janine.
You guys are falling apart.
All right, let's just start going through everything. There is so much ridiculousness here, Frankie C.
All right, so for people who don't know, this is a tour submarine that literally takes you down to the Titanic, right? The wreck of the Titanic.
Correct, which is very far down.
Which I didn't even know they did. Tours of the I didn't know that people. I thought that was like a very rare. Not that many people can get down there because it's so far down, kind of thing.
Correct. These are all correct facts.
These are all. Oh, okay.
These are all correct. And when you say they offer tours, like it sounds like, and I think most people's impression of this a couple of days ago was, oh, this is like a legitimate tour company with serious submarines that go to. No, none of that. None of that. This is like a renegade millionaire who built a submarine haphazardly. He used, I kid you not, a video game controller to control the submarine.
That's not good.
Which we knew, but I got more about. To bring people down there. It only fits 5 people. They're terrible, awful conditions. Lord knows what they're dealing with right now, if they're still alive. We believe at the moment of our broadcast here that there's a roughly 12 hours of oxygen left in the vessel. And there's search and rescue on the way. Here's the good news. They do actually have a vessel that can go down there to see what's happening. Good news part A.
Good news. I hope so, because if some guy, I mean, how old is this company that some guy was able to build a submarine and go down there? You would think search and rescue would be leagues ahead of that guy.
Nope. No, because there's not really. He built, think of it as somebody who built, like, think of it as Elon Musk, right? He's going to build a rocket ship that gets to Mars eventually. And that's going to be the vehicle that can get to Mars. There's not going to be any other vehicle that can get to Mars to help that first vehicle if something should go wrong. That's kind of what this guy has done. He's like, oh, I figured out a way to do this, and we're doing it, and that is where it ends. There's been no what if something goes wrong.
I feel like we've seen footage of the wreck of Titan down at the bottom of the ocean.
You have
unmanned cameras.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how James Cameron did it. There were unmanned robots that are going down there. So so good news part A. Yeah. There is a vessel that can go down and look around to see what's happening. Good news part B. There is a ship from the U.S. Navy with a crane and a cable that could theoretically pull this thing up.
That's good.
There is another vessel that has come from the French government, which is there and has finally made it on scene and is helping and assisting with the rescue efforts. So it is possible. I mean, you're talking about in the next 5 minutes, if they find this friggin' thing, could they pull it up and these people would still be alive. Theoretically, yes.
Right.
Realistically, probably not, because the area in which they are searching is so vast and also so ridiculously deep that it's needle in a haystack. You're really talking about needle in a haystack.
Oh, man.
So I don't know when search and rescue becomes just search.
Right. I'm sure I heard that they have to talk with the families about when to give up this, when to stop the searching, and so when it just becomes when they stop the rescue mission, and stop looking, and then when it becomes just a recovery kind of a thing. So there's families that are of these people that are involved, and God knows when. I mean, again, you got the oxygen to consider. How much oxygen is left over? Are they Are they underwater? Are they floating on top of the water? Are they just out in the middle of the
Yeah, well, so all that we're going to get to, and the idiot stepson on this episode. Interesting fact, they did find something floating in the ocean, and of course they did their due diligence on that, and it turned out to just be debris, which is something that the Coast Guard said during their press conference earlier today, which is there's just stuff floating out there. It's the ocean.
There's just stuff.
There's tons of stuff.
Right, it's like space. You go out, you leave the Earth. There's going to be space debris from stuff we've done, all floating around the Earth. It's just garbage that's in the ocean from us.
Exactly, just tons of garbage. And there's also the other big lead that they're following is they've heard tapping and noise that they believe to be coordinated, where it's like every 30 minutes there was like some tapping noise, some noise in the ocean. But the Coast Guard also said there's shit in the ocean that makes noise, So is this a coordinated 30-minute noise making thing from the people on the ship? Who knows? But they've moved their search into the noise area.
Right.
So where the noise is happening, that's where they are, and that's where they're searching at the moment. So
you think they'd be like, I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm no expert, but heat signatures, that kind of thing, infrared, look for a small space, a small area with a heat signature of some kind, 5 people in one spot. I'm sure the ocean, if they're in a capsule that's closed off, it's cold ocean, hot, but I'm sure they would show up, on some kind of, if you get the right spot, you'd see some kind of heat signature, I would imagine.
It's just, the problem is it's just so
it's
deep.
Just so huge. It's a huge area, and it's deep, and you can't see. I'm sure it's murky, and you probably can't physically see 10 feet in front of you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you're basically talking about an oversized coffin, essentially, at the end of the day, is what you're in, because it's not huge. Like the guys, you have to sit like, crouch down or crisscross applesauce to be in the vessel. That's it.
Right.
All right. So a couple interesting facts about that. There is a toilet on the vessel. The captain's chair, where there's like, it's like the submarine, you've seen it, right? And at the end there's a glass window, so you can see out. And in that seat there is a toilet. I don't know what kind of a toilet we're talking about here. It obviously doesn't flush to go anywhere. There is a place where you can go to the bathroom.
It's probably a tank that fills up or something.
Probably a tank, yeah. And then there's that curvature part. And then there's like a cylindrical part where you sit, and then there's sort of like this tail, which has the vessel's electronics and their oxygen tanks.
Right.
So that's where everything kind of sits in that area.
So do we know how we know how it was lost? Like someone was keeping track of it, and then they just lost track of it somehow?
Yeah, so how it works is that there's a boat that goes above it.
Right.
That stays in contact. You ready for this?
Uh-oh.
Via text message, because you can't, and the owner, the pilot, he uses, I swear to you, a Logitech video game controller that goes for anywhere between $45 and $60, depending on where you buy it, to control this submarine that goes down into the depths of the ocean, down into one of the deepest parts of the ocean that humans could get to.
Built by a billionaire, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he's a billionaire. There are two billionaires on board, because that's the other part of this. Dude, I got thrill seeker information. You talk about like what rich people do with their. It's insane.
The thrill seeking. I mean, I get some of it, but this seems like, I know hindsight and everything, 2020, but a small thing like that, I feel like once I take a look inside, I feel like, wasn't there a guy who was supposed to go on it, and he looked at it and he was like, nope.
Yep, I got that guy too. Yeah. He's friends with Hamish, one of the billionaires that's on board. He pulled out of it. Yeah,
because if you take one, the steering is, like you said, like a video game controller. What do you talk? I'm sorry. That's I don't know. I don't know how many trips did this thing take? This wasn't its first voyage, right?
Correct. It wasn't its first voyage, but not nearly enough. And the idea of, well, all right. So keep this in mind. If they're still alive, right? Yeah. They might not have electricity. Right. They might be sitting in utter pitch blackness. Picture 5 people together in a tiny space. The thing is only the walls are 5 inches thick on the walls. Like you said, it's cold ocean, so they're cold. It's only 22 feet long, but the space that they're in literally only fits like 4 or 5 people. There's a kid in there. Okay. They're obviously panicking. They're worried. I read this thing that was from a stress expert that says, when you panic and you worry, your body starts to break. You can throw up, you can pee yourself, diarrhea, like all sorts of things happening. Who knows what the bodily functions are down there? What sort of situations? It's like if you're just sitting in puke and vomit and
God knows what's going on in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows what's going on in there? It's pitch black. The oxygen is thinning. It just could be an absolute nightmare scenario. Like, I mean, could you imagine just sitting there?
No, I can't imagine sitting in that thing, like if it's on land. It just doesn't seem like a thing I would want to sit inside of.
Right.
Now put this thing at the bottom of the no, that's a scary situation.
Yeah, ridiculously scary situation. All right, let me just let's just go with we'll just go in order. A German adventurer who explored the Titanic wreckage on the submarine is speaking to the media. His name is Arthur Lobel. He's 60 years old. He told a German outlet that he was incredibly lucky back then, and he described the ride on the submarine as a suicide mission. He went on the submarine in August of 2021. Dove down over 12,000 feet to the famous wreck. It cost him $110,000. With him was French Titanic expert Paul-Henri Nargeolet, who's 73 years old. Stockton Rush, who's the OceanGate CEO, the guy who drives the thing on the joystick. They and 3 other passengers went down there. He says, quote, "It was a suicide mission back then. The first submarine didn't work. Then a dive at 1,600 meters had to be abandoned." Lobel explained that they ended up launching 5 hours late due to electrical issues, which he suspects is to blame for the Titan's crew's current predicament. Not only that, but right before the voyage, the bracket of the stabilization tube, which balances the sub, tore and had to be reattached with zip ties. Zip ties.
No.
Again, back to what you said in the beginning. We all went through this same thing of like, this must be like a major, because not in your wildest dreams would you imagine that somebody would undertake this with not the proper equipment, training, background, years of experience, all this crazy stuff. They're like, I don't know, zip tie it. This sounds like my grandfather was on board.
Yeah, zip ties at what is it, 12,000 feet down?
12,000 feet.
No,
Literally, this was my grandfather. Masking tape or zip ties could fix anything. That was his theory on life, like whatever it was. I remember when I got a rip on my school pants, he said, "Give that to me." I go, "Grandpa, I didn't know you can sew." He turned the pants inside out and put a piece of masking tape on it, flipped it back around again, and the rip was like together.
All right, that's something.
You can't argue with it. It was. You
can't argue with the results, I guess. But
exactly. But I wouldn't be like, "Grandpa, let's start a submarine company and go into the deepest part of the ocean.
Let's build our own submarine and go look at the Titanic." I mean, that's something that professional diving. Nobody's been able to. Like, what makes you think you can build something that? I mean, he did it a few times, but again, this guy that was on it said it's a suicide mission, right? He went down there. He worked on his voyage, right?
But you're on to something. What makes you think that exactly, like, just the idea of this guy's got a lot of money and some experience with this, that does not give him the right to do this. Like, it's absurd. You're going to slap your head for the rest of this episode with all the rest of the stuff I have to tell you.
I didn't even know this before this story. I didn't even know people were making trips down there. I thought there was a few, but I thought it was like Discovery Channel guy with like the best equipment.
Right.
Like maybe only a handful of people have ever gone down there. I've seen, the video of like, you see the wreck from like the bow of the ship and everything. You see all this video footage of it at the bottom. But I thought it was like going to the moon. Only a few people have done it. And it was so far down. That's why we can't bring the ship back up, because it's so far at the bottom of the ocean. So I thought this was like, it's down there, but not a lot of people can get down. I didn't know there was a guy doing tours of this thing, that people were going down there on a regular basis. How many times has this thing been down there?
Enough that they're like, I don't know, can we zip tie it? Yeah, sure.
Zip ties, dude.
What's that fucking tape that they have?
I'm asking what? Robin says gorilla tape.
No, yeah, not gorilla tape, Robin. What's the other guy? They paint the bottom of the boat with the stuff.
Oh, Flex Seal.
Flex Seal.
I mean, it worked on a screen door boat, but I don't know about a submarine.
This submarine was sponsored by Flex Seal, I think. This fucking thing. The fucking Flex Seal. The Flex Seal people were probably considering a partnership. Like, I don't know, we'll just paint it with Flex Seal. Should be fine. Not a big deal.
Yeah, not a good idea.
We got a problem. What do you need, boss? The zip ties or the Flex Seal? You tell me. I'll be right over.
You get in here and take a look. 12,000 feet down. I mean, you got to...
Because in our minds, we're all expecting Perillo tours, right? There's got to be a full service operation. Got to be experts and manuals and safety procedures and all kinds of.
This sounded like an excursion, like that you would pay, thousands of dollars for at a legitimate science, a company that knows what they're doing, and it would be a vessel that was like the best, submarine that you could ever. Like the military grade kind of thing. But no, this is some guy slapped some stuff together like in his garage or something.
Yeah. I mean, utter craziness.
It's unbelievable. And I mean, I hope these people get out of there and they find them and they're okay. But this thing, I can't imagine what the repercussions. I mean, yes, you bring them up, everybody's okay. But what happens to this guy who made this thing?
Oh, he is so. Oh, well, I got a story for that too.
You got a story for that, okay?
Yeah, let's finish with Mr. Lobel here. He said the cramped conditions on board weren't exactly reassuring, saying, "quote You need strong nerves. You mustn't be claustrophobic, and you have to be able to sit cross-legged for 10 hours." During one of the dives, he even touched down aboard the ill-fated cruise liner. However, out of all the Daredevil's adventures flying over Russia in a MiG-29 fighter plane and visiting both the North and South Poles, Lobel says the Titan expeditions were the, quote, most extreme. So he flew over Russia in a MiG-29 fighter plane. He's been to the North Pole. He's been to the South Pole, getting on this submarine he described as the most extreme thing that he's ever done.
I could see that because people go to the North Pole and the South Pole. I wouldn't say on a regular basis, but it's not unheard of. It's not impossible. People fly in planes like that all the time. You know, going down to 12,000 feet under the water into the North Atlantic Ocean to see the Titanic in a bathtub. I mean, you're not going to... I'm sorry. I would be shitting myself if I was in like a military sub. If I was in a submarine with the U.S. Army sticker on it, I'd be like, I'm still terrified right now.
Yeah.
This thing, I don't even know how anybody got the nerve up to get into this thing.
Now, he said that there was no toilet on board. Reports that we have now with that there was. So they must have, in between August of 2021 and now, they must have put some Tupperware on there that catches, because it's 10 hours. I mean, I don't even know how could you imagine not peeing for 10 hours
and just sitting in one spot, like just with your legs crossed, or I can't sit still for, I'm fidgeting right now. I can't sit still for 5 minutes.
I was just gonna say, if you're over 35, I dare you to sit crisscross applesauce for more than an hour and a half in the comfort of your own home. You probably can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, you go to it's weird. You go to like I sat at an ice hockey game, but like, you go to like these like a regular rink, not like an arena or anything, and you have those metal seats. You sit on those. My back is gone in 5 minutes, and that's in the cold itself. Just sitting on a metal cold thing would kill your back. You're in the freezing cold of the Atlantic,
right?
And I can't imagine the conditions that they're in right now.
And it's just dark and just awful. So just to give you a little background on the CEO of this outfit, Stockton Rush, he's 61 years old. Their story came out today that he didn't hire. So he said, so a lot of other companies hire ex-military, Navy, right? People who have experience doing these things. He says that he didn't want to do that. This is a quote from a Zoom interview that he did. When I started the business, one of the things you'll find, there are other sub operators out there, but they typically have gentlemen who are ex-military submariners. You'll see a whole bunch of 50-year-old white guys. I wanted our team to be younger, to be inspirational, and I'm not going to inspire a 16-year-old to pursue marine technology, but a 25-year-old, who's a sub pilot or a platform operator or one of our techs can be inspirational. So he believed that 50-year-old white guys with experience, ex-submarine people, not inspirational enough. He wanted to hire young 20-year-olds. What does that tell you about the character of a person?
Yeah, a 2-year-old would be super inspirational, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to make the 2-year-old pilot the thing. You want someone that knows what the hell they're doing. A 20-something-year-old pilot, super inspirational. But if they don't know what they're doing, then I don't want them driving me down to the Titanic.
Right.
Sorry. Give me the 50, 60-year-old guy that's done this 10,000 times.
But in this interview, he acted like he saw himself and this is the problem with people too. I think everybody thinks they're Elon Musk. I think everybody with a little bit of scratch together thinks I'm the explorer. He thought he was reaching new heights. He's not inspiring people. He's doing all this like crazy shit, and he's fucking zip tying his submarine together. I mean, this guy is fucking delusional.
With a video game controller for I'm sorry. Now, of course, hindsight, but that is, even the ships on the surface of the water are put together. You don't see that kind of, you don't see that kind of, this thing has to make it down 12,000 feet.
Yeah.
Withstand the pressure for an extended period of time, be able to move and be able to contact the surface. I mean, I don't think this guy went through all the safety precautions necessary.
No. We alluded to this last episode, but I got some more information on it. This is not the first time this vessel has gone missing. One of OceanGate's previous Titanic expeditions, who had CBS News correspondent David Pogue on it, had gotten lost for several hours because there is no GPS underwater. David Pogue, who was along for the ride, recapped his journey. If you want, just search David Pogue, CBS. You'll see all that stuff. Company officials were criticized for waiting 8 hours after they lost communication with the Titan to alert authorities about the missing vessel on Sunday. The entire journey to the shipwreck was only supposed to take 10 hours. So for 8 hours, they had no communication with the vessel, and then they decided, oh, maybe we should call somebody.
Now it's time to alert authorities.
Yeah. And that's the problem. In the ocean with currents, where that thing could drift and go to in 8 hours.
Yeah. But they found it that first time. I mean, was it underwater? Was it at the surface?
Well, the first time they found it, I think it was just an electrical thing. David Pogue was saying it was an electronic breakdown. That first time. This time, we obviously we still don't know what happened.
Right.
And they say that anybody can control the sub. Like he would just like give it to people. They could like steer the sub for a little while on the controller.
Oh my God.
Again, you don't see Steve Perillo being like, "Hey, who wants to come up here and drive the old boat? Huh?
No.
Who wants to fly the plane to the remote Italian island? Who wants to do it?" Fucking unbelievable.
Oh God.
You talked about this.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Frank.
No, go ahead.
You talked about this before. The guy who passed on going.
Yeah.
Digital marketing tycoon Chris Brown. He's 61 years old. He told the Sun that he had paid a $10,000 deposit for the trip, along with his friend Hamish Harding, who is currently on board, but that he pulled out over fears that they were, quote, cutting too many corners. And the idea that the submarine was run with a $40 video game controller was too concerning. Yeah. He said, and I quote, "I found out they used old scaffolding poles for the sub's ballast, and its controls were based on a computer game style controllers. It alarmed him when he saw how the OceanGate's 21-foot submarine was made up of off-the-shelf components," meaning anybody could buy this stuff. Like you would think if you're building this sort of a device, you would have to create custom, equipment to make it all run right.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin building a submarine. What parts you would need. It sounds like this guy went to Home Depot and got whatever he can get, is what this guy's saying.
Right.
I mean, that's unbelievable. Now, with concerns of ballast, I mean, that's just weight for the sub. So, what was it? Scaffolding parts?
Yes.
I mean, that's just weight. So I don't know if that served any function other than just providing weight, but still. Then when you see like just parts of a scaffolding at the bottom of your, no, I would want it to look like one piece. I wouldn't get into, I don't know what I would be looking for when I approached a submarine that's going to go see the Titanic, but I feel like there would be a certain level of professional looking.
Yeah, but here's a bad example. You've been on cruises, right?
Right.
You've paid for excursions.
Sure.
Haven't there been a couple where you're like, not so sure about this?
Sure.
Yeah. How reputable is this?
Yeah. What are we doing here?
Or then you get the ones that's like, hey, the $80 excursion that's sponsored and backed by the cruise line, and you're like, yeah. They're like, we found one for $40, and you just got to take your own taxi into town to get it. Do you want to come? And you're like, no,
nope. I'll pay the $80. Thank you.
Pay the $80. I think.
I'll pay $160, whatever you want.
But they don't go to the real parts of the waterfall. Yeah, no, good, fine. I'll go with Royal Caribbean. Yeah,
it's fine.
I trust Carnival and what they think is an appropriate distance to be at.
Yeah, I'm not Jack Sparrow. I'm not going to be, running along the shore looking for buried treasure. Give me the touristy thing. I can go to.
So Chris Brown said that he and Harding agreed to go on the voyage after having, quote, a few beers while partying on Sir Richard Branson's private Necker Island, Necker, Necker Island. Like I'm a little nasally. I need to just clarify that.
Good job.
In 2016. I asked for a refund after being less than convinced. I emailed them saying I'm no longer able to go on this thing, fearing
this thing.
that they were cutting too many quarters. They both paid a 10% deposit on the trip, which was then charging $100,000, but has since risen to $250,000. You know, zip ties are expensive, Frank. That's what people don't take into account.
What do you think? I mean, where do you think all that money's going?
Yeah, like Home Depot's raised their prices across the board. So
that's what I'm saying. I mean, the controllers don't come with the game, the extra controllers. You got to buy that second one.
And batteries and what they cost now to run that controller. I mean, your things are adding up.
It's just I mean, I feel really terrible for these people that are in this thing. But I mean, this guy lucked out. The guy that didn't go on this thing. I mean, he what? They were sitting there and they drank and they were convincing themselves to go on it, right?
Yeah.
You said,
Frankie C, can you do a live?
What? I lost you.
Do a live read for me for the book Oval.
Oh, okay.
Sponsor of our episode, big man.
Yes, the sponsor of our episode is the wonderful book Oval, Ovel, written by my wonderful wife, Erin Campanella. She wrote this book. It's an amazing book, amazing story. Check it out. It's available on Amazon. The link, there's the book right there. Anthony's holding it up.
Boom.
The link is in the description, I believe. And
it's all about a group of teenagers who get lost on the bottom of the ocean looking for the Titanic. Is that not?
No, it's not. Oh. It's not what it is now.
It is about a group of teenagers, though.
It's about a group of kids. They start out as kids, like 9 or 10 years old. It's in the book. They're all different, a couple of different ages, and then it follows them along their lives till they're in their late 30s, 40s, around there. All the different adventures they have, and coming back to the island, going back and forth at this place. Now, there are a couple of reviews on Amazon. I just want to thank Louise Neal, who left a great review on the Amazon page. You could check that out. So there's two ways you could download a digital copy of Oval right there, or you could buy the physical copy that Anthony's holding up. We got a lot of great reviews about it so far, and we're excited about it. Mercury Oval for the table. Yes, very good.
A little oval for the table. I love it. I'm actually going to flex seal a bunch of these together and go on a voyage this summer.
Is that going to be your ballast?
I'm excited about it. Yeah, okay. It's going to be good. Congratulations to Erin on a wonderful accomplishment.
Amazing job she did writing this book, and we're very proud, very excited that it's out and available for people to purchase right now. So take a look at it at the link. Pick up your copy. Oh. By the way, if you bought the copy, I think we said the first or second day, June 1st or 2nd, and you're waiting on your personalized video, we're working on that. Well, we should have it in a couple weeks. We are working on it. We haven't forgotten. And if you buy the copy in the month of June, we will send you a personalized autographed, thank you.
Yes.
Letter, and just. You got to email us a copy of your receipt,
which you can still get, by the way, June 21. Well, you can still get that.
Plenty of time.
Get that note.
Day of summer. Get that note.
How weird is it? I mean, you and I have been friends for a long time. Could you imagine, because these two guys put this deposit on this trip, and one guy was like, "This is crazy, I'm not going," and the other guy's like, "I'm still going." And now he's the guy who's stuck in this friggin' summer. Like, I can't imagine what this guy must be going through, being like,
yeah,
there's got to be some guilt. You couldn't talk your friend out of it. Why are you here? They're not, kind of thing.
Oh, I'm sure there's always that. There's that survivor's guilt that happens. I'm sure I'm sure obviously he's grateful he didn't go on it, but I'm sure he's terrified for his friend, which I can't even imagine. How anybody who knows anybody on this thing, how they're feeling right now. And I can't imagine how the people on the thing are feeling. That's got to be a nightmare situation.
Again, pitch black. You got a kid on there. Bowel movements.
Black, freezing. It's got to be ice cold down there.
Oxygen's kind of thinning out. I was saying to friends of mine earlier, I go, what do you think that's like? I mean, I would imagine that as you get to the end of oxygen, do you just kind of lay down? Are you breathing heavy, or is it the kind of thing where you just kind of drift off to sleep after? Because I would imagine you're going through the range of emotions. There's probably screaming and panic. There's probably calming and reassuring. There's probably crying and hysteria. Like I would imagine they're just cycling through all the emotions. But when you get down to the ends, when that oxygen is really starting to go low and you're feeling it, what is that like? Like, does calm just kind of take over? Do you drift off to sleep and that's the end of it? What happens?
I don't know, because the problem would be, obviously you're running out of oxygen, but you're also now breathing in carbon dioxide, because I don't think it's just a matter of there's nothing left. It's not like you're in a vacuum, and I think you're exchanging your oxygen for carbon dioxide. So now you're breathing in carbon dioxide, so it's more of an asphyxiation kind of thing.
Is that painful? Is it panic inducing? I'm
not,
you're not an expert. I know. We're just pontificating here, wondering.
I'm not sure. I hope not. I hope it's, if God forbid, they can't get rescued in time, I hope it's like you said, just like a pass out kind of thing,
Well, that's what's crazy. I mean, if they do wind up finding this thing, and again, like I said, it literally got to be in the next couple hours. The amount of time just to get it to pull it back up to the surface is going to be, because I think about this too. The vessel that can go down there with a camera and explore around, that could bring a cord or a cable to you'd have to that vessel. Let's say they find it right now, right? In the next 2 minutes, we get the thing. They found the thing. Now you have to figure out a way to get this robotic vessel into a position to hook it onto something, onto this way overweight thing, to grab it, to pull it. I mean, you're talking about.
My guess would be just a huge cable crane hook situation, and just reel it in like a fish. Just like,
but I'm saying, like, to find it and then go, okay, we found it. This is it. We have to figure out a way to get this hook off of this robotic thing around onto that somewhere, which hopefully it's not something that's being held together by a zip tie, and attach it and get we're talking about.
I'm sure they have. Obviously, I'm sure they know the layout of the vessel that they're looking for, so they know.
I don't know if they do.
Well, they know what it looks like. I'm sure
they know what it looks like. Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. So they know. My guess would be that they have a plan once they find it, what they're going to do to get it up to the surface. I'm sure that they're not going in there looking to find it, and then they'll go, all right, we'll figure it out when we find it. I'm sure there's people sitting there going, all right, this is the equipment we have to bring this thing up. This is what the vessel looks like. Once we find it and it's at the bottom of the ocean, this is what we're going to do to get it back up to the surface. I mean, I can't imagine that they wouldn't be prepared. Like, they don't have ships going right now, sitting on the ocean, circling around, waiting to jump into action once they find this thing.
Yeah.
And someone in the chat, Trista Delaney, why can't they use sonar? I think I'm sure they are.
They are.
Yeah, I'm sure they're pinging around looking for stuff. There's a lot of stuff at the bottom of the ocean, and I'm sure they probably started around or near the Titanic, like the wreck. I'm sure they started there, and they're probably just expanding from there, maybe, or wherever they last, heard from it.
Well, it's so far out, right? It's like 900 miles off of a coast, so you're talking about quite a trip and a journey before you even get to remotely where you need to be to start looking.
Right.
So think about that. I mean, it's not like somebody just got lost off the coast. Yeah. It's not easy to,
just in a place that's hard to get to. Number one,
the sheer mechanics of organizing this is unbelievable.
Yeah. And number two, because you have to get all the right vessels out in the middle of nowhere to get to this thing, to start looking for it. Right. Once you start looking, what kind of equipment do you have out there to look for it? Like, my guess, I would have, I don't know. I'm sure they've got some kind of heat. So they're looking around with infrared.
Everything. They got buoys that hear the sound. Like they're throwing everything they have on it.
What, fish are cold-blooded, I would imagine. So everything down there is going to be blue and cold.
Yeah.
But if you pick up a little heat signature, 5 people in a ship, in a vessel. But again, the place they're looking is so vast that it's got to be a nightmare. Plus, you're working against the clock. You got nighttime. You know, I'm sure they're up against a million obstacles. I'm sure it's not the calmest of seas. Who knows?
Robin says giant magnet. I'd love. We should get in touch with the Acme company. Magnet. See if we got a big old magnet around.
Oh, they have those. You know, those. You ever see those? I've only seen them in movies, but those huge magnets that they use at like junkyards to pick up like those cars and everything. I'm sure. I'm sure they thought of everything. Whatever's.
Maybe that's what I assumed. I'm gonna look into. I got it in my notes. I assumed it was a hook of some sort. Maybe it is a huge magnet.
I don't know. I wouldn't risk a magnet because you know how a magnet is really strong until you slide it.
True.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah.
I feel like hook or some kind of like, like a crane claw kind of thing to grab it and just hold it.
Great point from Haywood. Tethers can get snagged too. It's the truth. Like because again, when you think about all the things that are lining up against them.
Oh yeah, it's not easy. I mean, imagine the mission. Go into the middle of the ocean and find a ship that's just not functioning anymore. It's probably at the bottom. Finding it on the surface is hard enough.
I was just going to say, but when a ship loses communication and then they have to find it, that's hard enough.
Yeah, just on the surface alone is hard. Now you got to look at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Pitch black. I mean, yeah, you got the technology to look for maybe infrared or sonar, but it's huge. You know, you're talking about an enormous amount of space to cover.
Larissa, imagine those families in court. Interesting that you would say that, because our next point is the liability here. I mean, on top of the fact that Stockton Rush is dead, his company is super screwed because one of the people who made this trip gave an interview, and they said the waiver that they had to sign was like, it was a book on its own, the waiver that they had to sign. But what a lot of the legal experts are saying is that if they can show reckless behavior, here, I'll read the quote from, this is from Nora Freeman Engstrom, a law professor at Stanford University. If an operator behaves recklessly, most courts will not let the operator off the hook, no matter if there was a waiver signed or not.
Yeah, I would imagine that's correct, because no waiver is gonna. It's not like in the waiver it would say, the operator of the vehicle is going to behave recklessly. You're all right with that? It's like the waiver's probably not going to say that, so you can't account for that kind of behavior.
Right, because the waiver too is an agreement between two parties, and you're expecting that party to hold up their end of the bargain, and if they're being reckless, they're not holding up their end of the bargain, which is why a lot of times you see these waivers getting tossed out.
Right, and a lot, yeah, you're right, and also the waivers, I think, protect against, things that
acts of God, things you couldn't see coming.
This is if you get into a thing and it's faulty, you got a case,
right.
Someone's got to be held accountable, and it's not you because you said, I signed this waiver, so I don't care if screws are missing on this thing. I'm sure you want to get into something that's safe. There are ways. Bird says waivers can be bypassed in lawsuits. Yeah, that's the truth. I don't think waivers are as tight, airtight.
Ironclad, yeah.
Ironclad. So I think they help with little things here or there, like if you break your toe or going bungee jumping or something. But something like this would be a huge thing.
It would be huge. So, all right. So here's the latest. Here's the latest of what's going on. Technip FMC, which is a publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange company, has sent one of its pipe-lay vessels to help in the search and rescue mission that's going on right now. Mm-hmm. The company's vessel, called the Deep Energy, started doing remotely operated vehicle ROV operations on Tuesday in the area where the U.S. Coast Guard and others are searching for the OceanGate Titan submersive, according to a press release. It has reached the scene. It reached the scene on Tuesday, and they're roaming around with that thing right now. The U.S. Coast Guard says that more equipment and personnel are en route as officials raced against the clock. Following assets are on its way. Let me see here. All right, a bunch of vessels. I just realized if I read these all out to you, it would mean nothing. Deep sea experts worry that the banging is optimistic. Dr. Jeff Carson, professor of Earth and Environmental Sciences at Syracuse University. Yeah, we didn't realize this. Your brother is a Earth science teacher in high school. Should we have had him on as an expert?
I mean, and he also teaches marine biology as well.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Yeah,
I mean, he's no Earth and Environmental Science professor emeritus. Is he a high school teacher emeritus?
Not sure what that is.
So, I'm pretty sure I just made it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, Dr. Jeff Carson says he worries that the efforts to triangulate the location of the unidentified sounds picked up in the search and rescue crews on Tuesday and Wednesday could take too long and divert resources to the wrong place if the source turns out to be something other than the trapped crew members banging on the hull of the ship. So that's an interesting idea. So they were looking where they thought, like where they lost communication, where they thought it would be. Now they're going where the sound is. Is that maybe pulling them away from? Yeah.
I mean, how much I would, excuse me, I would imagine how many resources do they have? I mean, do they have teams where they can afford to split up and go to, this is where we're looking. You guys follow the noise. We'll be over here.
The answer to that is no.
No.
Because they literally, like I said, there is one vessel that exists that can roam, look and see, and hook up the tether to the U.S. Navy ship that could pull it up. That is it. You got one of those. There's one combination of those two vessels. That's it.
How could there only this guy built this out of nothing, and the rest of the world, we only have one thing. Nobody's built something else that can go down that far, unmanned or not.
Because here's the next thing you're wondering: isn't there some sort of licensing thing that I have to qualify for in order to start? And the answer to that is no.
No. So if I just build a plane in my backyard, I could just give air tours around Long Island?
That's different. Now you're talking about FAA. There are regulatory agencies in place for that.
But not for the ocean.
Not for the ocean. Also outer space. I'm pretty sure that nobody really tested Elon to see if his company is real. And like, what do you do? How do you do that? You don't. Nothing really exists.
Well, that's the thing. Their airspace, is over. When you get out to international waters, that's where you get into the problems with. You don't have, what laws are you abiding by?
Right.
Which country's laws? Same thing with space. Which country's laws are you operating under? So yeah, that's where you run into some murky situations. So, but where was this sailing out of? Do we know?
Where was it sailing out of?
Yeah, where was this thing?
That's a great question. I want to say Canada.
Okay, so
because Newfoundland is like right there. Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, it's all right there.
So that's where that's where this thing came from?
Yes, I would assume so. That's where it's coming from.
All right. So I'm sure to operate a tour of any kind, right? A tour company, especially on the water, if you have to adhere to Canadian law, right? I'm sure your vessel would have to operate under some kind of standards in order to be seaworthy. If your port is a place that has those kind of, I feel like Canada would have a ton of nautical laws. I mean, that's their bread and butter for the most part.
Again, I don't it's not like it's an airline or, something that is like, oh, okay, you're going to do this. Well, then here's a massive amount of regulations that you must survey. It just, that doesn't exist. It just doesn't, that infrastructure for this kind of a thing doesn't exist because there's not a lot of wackadoos that would literally go, I know, I'm going to build a submarine in my backyard. Granted, it's a millionaire's backyard, but still, I'm going to build a submarine in my backyard. I'm going to start taking people on tours. It's not like that's something that thousands of people are trying to do that would would trigger some sort of regulatory administration, you know?
Right. Yeah. There's no run for this kind of thing that they would have to put those laws into place. I'm sure this company probably adheres to the laws about ships that stay on top of the water.
Right. They might have an insurance certificate to do tours on the water. Right. They might have that, but
I'm sure none. Probably you're right. Probably doesn't even exist to do tours 12,000 feet down in the middle of the ocean.
No, who's crazy enough to do this shit?
Yeah.
I find this interesting that Hamish Harding, who is one of 2 billionaires on board, which we'll go into more on him in a moment.
Like if your name is Hamish, you're a billionaire.
Yeah, you're a billionaire, and you're a daring one at that. Yeah. You know, you don't get through life as a Hamish without having to fight your way through it a little bit.
Exactly.
He is part of an explorers club that includes
whatever.
What?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That includes.
I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sit. No, what did you say?
No, I think it's Hamish.
Oh, Hamish. Okay. Hamish. That he's part of an international society of adventurers that includes Jeff Bezos, Buzz Aldrin, and veteran explorer Josh Gates.
Okay.
Hamish is known for his exploratory escapades across the globe. He's a founding member of the board of trustees of the Explorers Club. A resident of Dubai, he also chairs the club's Middle East chapter. Like, I used to think this idea of rich people just off in the wilderness doing weird, crazy, ritualistic shit was just made up malarkey.
Like in movies, like they just... Yeah.
There's the secret society and they all meet, you know, wearing togas in remote forest locations. Right. But honestly, I feel like that's pretty real.
It's because they don't have to work. They got billions of dollars. They're going to do some weird, crazy shit.
They can't get turned on by, you know, like hunting humans, like all these crazy stories we read, you know, these books and fiction. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's all real. Like it exists out there. And a couple of things have formulated this opinion. Right. A little bit, but that fucking Army Hammer. Remember Army Hammer was like eating people and all kinds of like, hey, he's got his his family is from shit tons of money, crazy rich people. I just think that they just get bored with life and they're hunting humans and they're fucking putting their lives in jeopardy on weird coffins with zip ties and Flex Seal.
Because what do? You get billions of dollars. You own everything you could ever want.
Yeah.
And then at some point when you're 60-something, you're going to go, I might as well see what's going on the Titanic, I guess.
Right.
Looked everywhere. I've been everywhere else. I've been on safaris. Like this guy. He's been to the North Pole, the South Pole, flying in these crazy planes. I mean, I'm sure after this, who's probably going to do there are a bunch of people, I'm sure, that have their hat in the ring to be the first. You know, in a few years, they're going to send civilians to space to do tours up there, I'm sure.
These are the crazy bastards that are going to be the first ones online.
Yep.
They already have the connections. They already got the line to Elon. Yeah.
Unreal.
It is. It's crazy.
Too much time and too much money on their hands.
What are you doing this weekend? Oh, my International Adventurers Club has a meeting. What? What are you part of?
Yeah, we're meeting at the base of this cliff where avalanches are known to happen every 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Have fun.
2022 promotional video from OceanGate Expeditions, the company behind the sub, features testimonials from previous explorers, including one who notably describes when the submarine landed on the seabed, kicking up sediment. Mm-hmm. Said, we landed on the seabed, saw a little mist of sediment come up. It was quite a feeling because we knew that we were close to an object, that we had come down on an almost perfect descent the entire dive. So this thing is literally hitting the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, that's
It's not like it's just like scanning. Oh, there's the Titanic down there. You guys can see. No, it is like, it's like, there it is.
Yeah, it's probably going right up to it.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing next weekend? Oh, next weekend, my International Explorers Club is having a our Middle East chapter is having a bake sale.
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. Let's keep it at low key.
Yeah. Yeah. Veteran explorer Josh Gates, also part of the International Explorers Club. He hosts a TV series investigating myths and legends around the world, revealed on Twitter today that the missing OceanGate sub did not perform well when he went on a dive aboard the vessel himself. Gates, who hosts Expedition Unknown on Discovery, had gone with Stockton Rush, who is now among the 5 missing, on a test dive before the vehicle's first visit to the Titanic site. They were going to document, like film a documentary on it. They nixed it over safety concerns. When the documentary people are like, I think this is dangerous.
Yeah, and these people, documentary people, put themselves into some crazy situations.
Yeah.
And then when they go, nope, not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to second think that trip.
You might want to think about that. Yeah. You might want to just go, oh. Yeah. Wait, the people who put themselves in danger all the time, they're not going?
I don't see why that should bother us. What's the big deal?
Yeah, we should be fine.
Yeah.
Pack that Flex Seal up and get moving.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, next week our exploration club, just having a book club. We're just gonna stay in next week. We're not doing much.
Wait, what are we doing in July? Book club. Like hanging off the side of an airplane reading a book? No. We're just gonna.
But it's a scary book.
It's a scary book.
It's gonna be nuts.
Is it Gulliver's Travels at least? Because if it's not about explore, I'm not.
Just bring a dish. We're asking everyone to bring a dish. It's a potluck. So
potluck is going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
This is a photo that the U.S. Coast Guard just released of the search area for the missing vessel. This is aerial footage showing a Bahamian research vehicle, Deep Energy, helping the search. The missing. Let me see here. Yeah, so this is one of the rate. I don't know if you can kind of see it. Let me put it up big on the screen for everybody. You could kind of see they've got a lot of sonar and radar. Those big white globes up at the front. You can land a helicopter on there, obviously.
Right.
As you could see, so they got some.
That looks like that might do a good job.
The problem is you see this and you start to feel a little better about it, and you can't.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's still not a great situation.
Yeah,
I mean, this looks like if you want any ship to look for you, this looks like a good one to have. But even then, still not a great situation.
Still not a great situation. Let's get to the idiot stepson, because this idiot, for lack of a better term,
is an idiot.
He's an idiot. So, the stepson of the billionaire who made news, I don't know if it was Monday, he made news that he attended the Blink-182 concert.
Right.
This jackass posted a picture of himself. I mean, and he looks like a fuckface idiot. Like, he really looks like a dope. Like, who is the idiot? Who is the one in the golf movie?
Which golf movie?
No. With Rodney Dangerfield. No. Caddyshack. Yeah. Who is the nephew in that fucking member?
Spalding.
Fucking. This is a real life Spalding. This piece of shit. His name is. He's got a weird last name. Szaszz. Szaszz.
Zaz, I guess.
Brian Zaz. He looks like a huge jerk off. So he goes to a Blink-182 concert on Monday, and then he posts about it and says, keep my family in prayer. But he's like, how to go to the Blink-182 concert. Like a fucking idiot. Right?
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, like, no one's expecting the kid to join the search or anything, but you don't brag that you're having a wonderful time.
Right.
Well,
okay, I get that you're going to the fucking Blink 182 show, for the love of God. Don't fucking post about it, you jackass.
Yeah, no good.
What do you got to fucking put it online for?
It's a bad look, buddy.
So fucking stupid. And it's not even the worst thing that he has done.
I'm waiting. I didn't hear about I heard about the Blink 182 thing. What's the worst thing?
All right, so the Blink 182 thing is Monday, right?
Right. Yeah.
Today, an OnlyFans model tweeted out a picture of her rear end, and the caption is, "Can I sit on you?" And Brian quote tweeted, "Yes, please," with smiley face next to it. Today. The entire world is captivated by his missing stepfather.
Yeah.
And this jackass is fucking tweeting with OnlyFans models.
I mean, yeah, it's not great. This guy obviously doesn't like his stepfather. I don't know if he gives a shit or if he's just an idiot.
I don't know either, but I mean, clearly, this is Spalding in real life.
Yeah,
it's fucking.
Look at
Spalding.
nothing in like it. I want a cheeseburger. No, a hot dog. I want a Coke. No,
There he is.
Good Lord.
The OnlyFans model. Can I sit on you? And he responds, "Yes, please." What a dickhead.
Yeah, this guy's a douche with a capital bag.
Gleben's got the best thing. What a Chad. He's a fucking Chad. That's exactly the definition of a Chad.
Yeah.
What a idiot piece of shit.
This is his stepfather. I'm sure his mom is probably beside herself.
Can I be honest with you too? I mean, not even to be insensitive at a time like this. OnlyFans model ain't even that hot. She's kind of like a crackhead looking thing going on.
Maybe that's what he's into.
And I am going to guess some photoshopping happening here too, because this is a very thin waist and a very large ass.
That's a possibility.
It's not adding up here. I see Kim Kardashian work at play here.
Oh no, a person online photoshopped their picture. Never heard of that happening.
Well, while the world is trying to find this guy's stepdad, he's trying to fucking find somebody to nut to on OnlyFans. So I guess we're all contributing in different ways.
Everybody grieves in their own way. But again, the mother's got to be, flipping out right now. Her husband is lost under, God knows where. You'd think you'd be, by her side, anything.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go to Blink 182 and chat with OnlyFans models.
It's fucking crazy, isn't it?
Come on, man.
Best estimates put them at anywhere from 10 to 12 hours of oxygen left.
How much? 10 to 12 hours?
Yeah, right now at the moment, 10 to 12 hours of oxygen. Like best estimates. If they haven't,
I'm kind of
if they haven't
not impressed, but shocked that they started out with that much oxygen. That's they went down there with how much? They started out with two days worth?
It was like 96 hours. Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot. That's like more than they had on like Apollo 13. They ran out of oxygen on that thing pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Then again, they had a leak on that thing. But that's 96 hours of oxygen on that vessel. That seems like a lot, but still.
It's a great point by you. It is an awfully caring safety feature to have on a vessel which otherwise seems to have none.
Right.
Like we better have 9 times the amount of oxygen we need. It seems like a really cautious, an incredibly precautionary safety step to take for something that has got Scotch tape on it.
Right. And like we said earlier, there's lack of oxygen. Oxygen's running out, but also it's the fact that carbon dioxide is building up. So not only is there the oxygen levels going down, the carbon dioxide is going up. So you're breathing in toxic air.
Right.
So that's not good.
Will's got a great point here. And if you were probably left out of a will, you'd be talking to OnlyFans girls too. That's not a bad
That's
point.
a good point. He's got you there, buddy.
He's probably like, fuck that asshole. He fucking cut me out of the will.
Yeah, this guy sucks anyway.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't think of that. Maybe this kid does not like his stepfather. You know, he could have hated him for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't give a shit.
Maybe he doesn't. Coming back around on Spalding now.
But then again, you know, there's a couple of other innocent people in that thing that you should probably maybe think about.
Bowling with cotton balls brings up a good point. 96 hours for one single person at 3,000 feet is different, not for 5 at 12,000 feet. It's true. A Joso Deadly CO2 mentioned my name. There you go, buddy. Yes. Well, that's Frank said that. We said it earlier on the podcast. You're breathing in toxic. Yeah,
it's the same problem they had on Apollo 13. The scrubber, or the thing that when you breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, the thing that filtered out the carbon dioxide from where you are, that broke on the Apollo 13. So there were no choice but to breathe in carbon dioxide. This thing, I doubt, had a filtration. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if it had a exchange system of scrubbing out carbon dioxide when you breathed out. I don't think it did, but maybe it did. I don't know. But either way, not a good situation with only a dozen or so hours left of oxygen.
But again, I wonder, and I don't know if anybody really knows this, because I don't know if you could observe somebody, but is it like all right, if somebody turns the car on in the garage, does the old hose from the muffler into the car, and it's always like a quiet sleep, and I realize that's carbon monoxide. I realize that, but I wonder, is this the same thing, or is it more of like a struggly kind of panic inducing? I wonder. Yeah. I mean, do you give up hope after like a 2-day, like, is there a strange calmness to it all where, you realize that screaming and banging is not doing anything and everybody just lay down and, I don't know
what's going on. Like if best case, they're all in there and they're surviving. And I mean, obviously the best thing to do would be to be as calm as possible, so you're not using up the oxygen faster. And keep banging on the thing. Maybe that's a great way to do it. To get, if you have no other way of communicating from the outside, with the outside world, banging on the side is probably the best thing to do. I would keep it not regular. Instead of just going, maybe just change it up every now and then so it doesn't sound like something that could occur. Like a wind hitting something. Keep it so like it's like very irregular. That's what I would do. And then plus you got to keep everybody as calm as possible. If you're planning on getting out of this thing, you keep everybody as calm as possible so they breathe less oxygen at a slower rate. And that's the only thing you can do at this point. There's no way. If you can't, they said you can't open the thing from inside, right?
No, you can't. No.
Even if you could, the pressure, you
wouldn't
be able to push it open anyway.
Wouldn't be able to, exactly. Stacy says, I did hear today that it had a carbon dioxide scrubber. Here's the other thing. When we were talking about this on Monday, we were calling it the Polar Prince. This is how little information is out there on this vessel. Like, again, it's not like, oh, there was a Navy ship missing. Well, here's everything we know about the Navy. It's all there's
I doubt the schematics are online somewhere.
Exactly. You just flat out don't know. Gleben says,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Even if there is a scrubber on this thing, let's say best case scenario, the scrubber is on the thing, and chances are it's probably not functioning if there's no electricity anymore. So best case, let's say it is working, you still have the oxygen ticking time bomb of people not being able to get out of there within 10 to 12 hours. You got you're running out of oxygen, even if the scrubber is working.
Right. Gleben says it's a slow sleeping kind of a poisoning. CO2 shuts down the brain, then slowly everything goes. But yeah, you lose consciousness first, and then everything shuts down. Yeah, I would imagine so. And again, we do. I don't think we really know the type. I don't. There's theories. I think we know, but we don't really know what happens when you're 12,000 feet down. How that changes? Does it, cold conditions? Does it restrict does it make does 96 hours of oxygen really become 48 hours of oxygen? Because of the coldness or whatever. I don't know. We don't really know.
I'm not sure, but I think the amount of oxygen is the amount of oxygen. But the difference might be if you're cold, then how you're breathing. I'm sure the pattern, the amount that you're, or the speed at which you're breathing. Like if you're hyperventilating, or if you're really breathing too quickly, you could use up the oxygen faster. So again, staying calm. I'm sure if it's cold, I'm sure they're all huddling together for warmth.
Do you kill Stockton Rush right off the bat for putting you in this situation, or do you keep him because he knows the most about the thing? That's a tough call.
I mean, I feel like anybody could figure out the thing. I mean, it doesn't seem, from what we understand, that if you could operate it with a video game joystick, it doesn't seem like it would be that complicated a thing. Yeah. Plus, it's not working. So what is he going to figure out?
Mm.
Yeah, hypothermia. There's a lot to worry about down there.
Let's start. All right. Conspiracy theories obviously going to be abound.
Oh,
I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory. It is being reported by some legitimate outlets that Stockton Rush's wife, Wendy Rush, who is the communications director for the company, is a great grandchild of Isidore and Ida Strauss, who were
on the Titanic.
Who were on the Titanic.
I think, I might be getting the names wrong, but I think you remember the movie of the Titanic, or Titanic.
The old couple
couple. That's supposed to be them.
Yes, in fact, there is a monument for, I believe, Isidore.
Mm-hmm.
There's a monument in Manhattan on Broadway somewhere, up in the hundreds, with.
Well, what's the conspiracy theory?
Well, I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory per se, but it's kind of it's bizarre.
Well, I mean, it might be bizarre, but I mean, their life is obviously revolving around the Titanic, so it's not like they ventured too. You know what I mean? It's
right.
The Strausses obviously died on the Titanic, but if their ancestors survived somehow and their livelihood revolves around the Titanic, that doesn't seem too far-fetched.
I guess so. I guess when you say it like that, but it's strange when you think of it of like her great-grandparents and now her husband both died in the same exact spot at a remote location in the ocean.
That I'll give you.
That's a little bizarre.
Yep.
Do you even sleep? I mean, if you're like Hamish's wife or you're this woman, like, do you sleep? What is it like to be in that?
I wouldn't. I don't know where would she be? Like, is she probably not? She's probably not on the ships with the search parties or anything, right? Or you think
maybe?
I can't imagine she's home, just sitting around being home. I would imagine if it were me, I'd be down to, headquarters. Like, what are we doing? Let's get everybody we can.
Right. Let's get everybody on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but sleep.
Yeah, like what do you?
Eventually, I'm sure exhaustion just takes over, and you just pass out for an hour or so, and you wake up with the same energy. You probably, it's probably not going to be easy to sleep.
No, I wouldn't imagine it's easy to sleep. But that's torturous.
Yeah,
it's a torturous situation.
Yeah.
The Canadian Armed Forces a few hours ago shared some footage of the aerial search that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see there. Oh, as you can't see there because I didn't put it up on the screen yet. Boom. There you go.
I see. Okay.
Here, let me go back to the beginning here. As you can see the plane up in the sky. This is support for the search of the Titan here. This is a CP-140 Aurora from the 14-wing Greenwood, Nova Scotia, providing surface search and subsurface acoustic detection capabilities. So there's just like, and just look at the clouds, the fog. I mean, you think it's so easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's even if the thing is at the top or close to the top,
right?
Which is no guarantee. Which chances are it's probably at the bottom, right? As what the odds are.
Yeah, they think it's on the bottom or it got stuck in something.
Right.
There's a bunch of different theories on that. But I mean, we've gone through this too with missing airliners, where it's like, oh, yeah, okay, but these airplanes and whatever only have X amount of flying time, and then it takes 3 hours, 4 hours to get to wherever we're and then you got an hour or two of search time, and then you got to fly all the way the frig back.
Well, they got to have refueling. I would imagine once they're out there, they have vessels that they could. Because they do refuel. There are ships that refuel while in the air. There are ships that you could probably land on a carrier of some kind. There are ways to do that, but I don't. Again, this is a race against the clock, so I don't know how much of a jump they got on this thing. So,
not much when it took them 8 hours to even notify somebody that shit should have gone awry.
Yeah. Right.
The deep sea robot, the Victor 6000, that's the vessel that we talked about.
Right. Oh, the camera, the unmanned vessel that goes down there.
Yeah. As of this afternoon, it was being rushed to the scene. I believe it's there, actually. Yeah, it's there right now. It's a 10-foot long remote controlled robot with a bright yellow back. The Victor 6000 has been described as a flagship device for underwater operations by the French network BMTV, and is capable of reaching a depth of 20,000 feet. This is 12,500 feet where the Titanic is. So a rescue would see the Victor 6000 accompanied by the Horizon Arctic, a powerful tug and supply ship which has a large cable which a deep sea craft can take down with it toward the wreck of the Titanic. The Victor 6000 is equipped with a robotic arm, which can be used for dislodging the lost Titan submersible if it's discovered trapped within the Titanic wreckage. It can also attach the cable from the Horizon Arctic to the vessel to help pull it to safety. Oliver Lefort from the French state-run Oceanic Research Institute told Reuters, quote, Victor is not capable of lifting the submarine up on its own. Victor is able to do visual exploration with all the video equipment it has. It also is equipped with manipulating arms, which it could use to extricate the sub, such as by sectioning cables or things that would be blocking it at the bottom. Lefort said the U.S. Navy reached out to request help, and that they couldn't say no. This is the logic of seafarers. Our attitude was, we are close. We have to go. The Victor 6000 is operated by a 25-person crew on board its mothership, the Atalante, all of whom are speeding to the search, or who have sped to the search site, with the hope of pulling off a miracle.
Man.
So essentially, like I said before, we've got one Victor 6000. We've got one naval ship with the big cable. That's it. They got to find it, and they got one shot at it. So,
God.
Lefort told Reuters that we can work nonstop up to 72 hours. We don't need to stop at night. So that's the latest search effort that is going on right now. Basically, all the hopes are on the Victor 6000, the Le Atalante, which carries the Victor and operates it, and the U.S. crane ship, the Horizon Arctic. All the hopes of rescuing this thing are within those three vessels' hands.
Man, and they have. I mean, it'd be one thing if they found it like right now. If they actually said we got it,
Right.
now it's a race against the clock to get the thing to the surface. Or I mean, worst case, can they pump more oxygen down there?
I don't know.
You know, like if we can't get it to the surface fast enough, just send a hose down some way, and at least until we can somehow rig something up to get you up. I don't know.
Yeah.
But mission number one, objective number one is find the thing, and then see what condition it's in and what they can do with it. But
sorry, I don't know if you caught some of that cough. Sorry,
we caught a bunch of it. It's all right.
Sorry,
we're all sick now. No.
So yeah,
it's a terrible situation. We hope everybody's okay. It's you look at it and you want everybody to be okay. You want everybody to be found. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of hope, but you always gotta have some kind of hope. Maybe a miracle will be pulled off. Maybe they'll find this thing. Everybody will be okay. I can't imagine the excitement. If this thing gets found, it'll be like it's the story of the century so far.
Yeah, I think they will find it too. I don't know if that's today or 10 years from now, but I feel like this is part of when you have like a sea explorer, marine explorer mentality, like just the way they found the Titanic. I think you'll have people searching for this thing for years to come until somebody finds it and they pull it out and they try and figure out what happened.
Maybe, but the Titanic, not for nothing, but it's a huge thing.
Agree. Yeah, agree.
To find this thing, God knows where it is. The Titanic, they had an idea of where it was, and it took them a while to find it, but that's because we didn't have the technology to go looking for it until, years and years later.
Yeah, when did they find it? In 80? I want to say like 85, right?
It's a good question. I'm not sure.
And didn't it go down in the 20s?
I think no, it was 1930s. 12.
Oh, 12. Oh, it
was in the teens.
So 60, 70 years that thing was missing.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was a huge ship.
Yeah, let me see. They found in 1985. They found the Titanic in 1985.
All right, I like Lisa here on this one. Great point. Where's the Las Vegas aliens to help out here? See, this is why we need alien technology. It's great.
Good for nothing aliens. They're not doing anything.
Yeah, they're not helping at all.
Yeah, April 15th, 1912 was when the Titanic went down.
Hacker Gibson, once one person starts pooping, everyone's going to poop. Yeah, it's true.
That's what happens. They got that. Supposedly there's a toilet on the thing, but God knows what kind of
toilet.
How operational or what it does. I'm sure it's probably porta potty situation where it just.
No, I don't think so. I literally think it's a Tupperware container. That's my thought. Because it's not in a position. I mean, it's like there's supposedly you can slide a curtain and you could use the toilet. So I'm thinking it's got to be something that they could just seal and live with for 10 hours.
Oh boy.
I really think it's a fucking.
I don't know.
Big Tupperware.
So there's nothing online with this is the thing that they're in. I'm sure there's photos of it, right?
There's a couple, yeah, but like I said, most of our knowledge of this is coming from people who have been on it.
Right.
Again, like I said, just 48 hours ago, we were calling this thing the Polar Prince. That's how much we did not know about this whole situation. So, and as people are going in and digging, do you want to know about the people on board?
Yeah, sure.
We'll go through this quickly. Hamish, 58 years old, British adventurer, runs Action Aviation, a Dubai-based private jet dealership. As we said, like the other guy, Chris, he visited the South Pole multiple times. Once with Buzz Aldrin, he flew into space in 2022 aboard Blue Origin's 5th human crewed flight. He holds 3 Guinness World Records, including longest time spent at full ocean depth during a dive to the deepest part of the Mariana Trench.
Jeez.
So he's got some experience, I guess, in these deep dives.
Right.
In the summer of 2022, he told Business Aviation magazine that he grew up in Hong Kong, qualified as a pilot in the mid-1980s while studying at Cambridge, and set up his aircraft firm after making money in banking software.
Jeez. This guy knows his shit.
Mm-hmm. But also kind of feels like, again, I know our world is skewed. Everything is Epstein, but kind of the same thing is like, how did you become a billionaire? And they go, oh, well, when I was growing up in Hong Kong and studying at Cambridge, I made some money in banking software. Oh, okay. Like
a little vague.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of, he's British. He lives in Hong Kong, school in Cambridge. Like
I don't know.
Banking software. Like what'd you
software
come up with?
I don't know. Do you want the specific name of the program he came up with?
Yeah, like some. Yeah. To me, this is Nick Papagiorgio from Yuma.
Right, exactly.
It's fucking made up.
It doesn't sound too specific.
Yeah, I mean anybody could make this shit up.
All right, who else we got?
Last weekend on Facebook, he said that the mission was likely to be the first and only one in 2023 because of poor weather conditions in Newfoundland, where the mission set off from.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think this is probably not going to be any more of these.
Well, yeah, they're definitely not. I don't even know if they have more of these types of vessels. As far as I know, this is the only one that this OceanGate has.
Right.
Shahzada and Suleiman Dawood. This is the father-son combination. Shahzada is 48, from one of Pakistan's richest families. He was traveling with his son, Suleiman, who was a 19-year-old student. He lives with his wife, Christine, and one other child, Alana, in suburban southwest London. But the family was spending a month in Canada prior to the dive. God, could you imagine you've moved the whole family around this one thing?
Jeez.
He works with his family's Dawood Foundation, as well as the SETI Institute, SETI, a California-based research organization which searches for extraterrestrial life.
Okay.
People, never mind.
Yeah. Skip.
Yeah. He's a supporter of two charities founded by King Charles, the British Asian Trust and the Prince's Trust International. Paul Henry Nargeolet is a former French Navy diver. He's 77 years old. Nicknamed Mr. Titanic, he has reportedly spent more time at the wreck than any other explorer and was a part of the first expedition to visit in 1987, just 2 years after it was found. He is the director of underwater research at a company that owns the rights to the Titanic wreck. Yeah, did you know that there is a company that bought the rights to the Titanic?
I would imagine whatever the company owned the Titanic would have the rights to that, no?
Well, I think that company sold it to this guy's company.
Okay.
Yeah, so that they could. Yeah. Because when you think about all the museums and I don't even know, merchandise.
Sure.
James Cameron had to pay fucking somebody for this shit,
I guess.
According to a company profile, Nargeolet has supervised the recovery of thousands of Titanic. Oh, that's the thing too. Titanic artifacts. Shit that's on there is incredibly valuable, especially that heart of the sea that they haven't seemed to locate yet.
Well, that just got thrown over at recently. That was a recent loss.
That
old lady, she was just a liar.
Titanic artifacts, including the big piece, a 20 tonne Tonne.
Ton.
Is that how you spell ton? I thought it was TON.
It's the British way.
Fucking British and their bullshit.
That would be a metric ton.
20-ton section of the boat's hull.
Okay.
Family spokesperson Matthew Johan said he hoped Mr. Nargeolet's composure and military career would reassure the crew on board, even if the outcome of the operation did not depend on him. Could you imagine, guys? Calm down. I've been to this. I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, right.
You'd be the first person. He'd be the first person to get punched in the face.
I mean, but you know what? If you're stuck in that situation, that's probably the guy you want. The guy you want down there is that 77-year-old diver guy. I don't know what he's going to be able to do, but at least there's someone that, if there's any kind of chance of getting out of there, there's this guy.
And finally, Stockton Rush, 61 years old, chief executive officer of OceanGate, the firm which runs the Titanic voyages and the company. He is an experienced engineer who has previously designed an experimental aircraft and worked on other small submersive vessels. Rush founded the company in 2009, offering customers a chance to experience deep sea travel, and made global headlines in 2021 when it began offering trips to the site of the Titanic wreck. Yet, did I mention that they only started in 2021? So it's not like they've been doing this for a really long time.
But it is kind of amazing that they've been doing this for 2 years without incident.
It's not like they go down every day, though.
No.
You know, for $250,000, his company offers passengers the opportunity to get an up-close glimpse of what remains of the famous ship. Participants travel some 370 miles on a larger ship to the area above the wreck site, then do an 8-hour dive to the Titanic on a truck-sized submersible known as Titan. Speaking to the New York Times in 2022, he defended the business model and said that the ticket price was a fraction of the cost going to space, and it's very expensive for us to get these ships and go out there. A 2017 feature written for the website of Princeton University, where he studied, reported Mr. Rush goes on every OceanGate dive.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, this I would be amazed. I mean, and it would be great if they found them, but I who knows? So again, the clock's ticking, and I don't know how they're getting, it's if they have to look everywhere too. It's not just this. That's the problem. If it was on the surface, like if you're designing a submersive anything, I feel like the first thing I would put on, again, hindsight, so hindsight's 2020, would be like a button you press where something inflates and it carries you to the top. You know, like one of those rafts that just inflate and bring you up, you know?
Yeah. Again, from what I understand, because like I said, information is sketchy, but on Monday they said that the way that the boat, the way that the Titan communicated with the boat above it was through text message. It was literally through SMS text message, which is amazing to me because I live out in the Hamptons, and if I drive 4 blocks from here, there is no signal, Frank. I can't get in touch with any human being, and these guys are diving 12,000 feet into the ocean with a fucking Verizon phone.
How do they have any kind of signal just 900 miles from the coast? From anything?
No idea.
They're in the middle of the ocean.
If there's like an antenna or something on the boat above that
maybe on the boat. Yeah, I guess.
No idea.
But just being on that boat, I can't imagine you have a full signal being on the regular boat above.
What is it? We good? Question mark. Yes. Like thumbs up. Like what do they do? What do
we go on a cruise? We're not that far off the coast on a cruise, and I have no signal.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
I'm sure that boat has, cruises have antennas and whatever's going on there.
Can AOA report live from Newfoundland Friday, Frank?
Can we get there in 2 days?
You want to go?
It's almost Thursday. I'd go, but
it's Frank's job to do this, but he has a fear of flying, which I don't know why we gave you that responsibility to be the on-site reporter.
Something tells me you didn't want to do much traveling anyway, so.
It's that, and we can't send Janine. She'll be too busy making friends in all these weird locations.
We have too many correspondents in too many places.
What's going on in the scene, Janine? Well, right now we're sharing nachos with these lovely people we met in the airport.
Great. Did you get to the scene? Not yet. We'll let you know.
Not yet. Nobody from our group is going right now, but maybe in a couple days we'll get there.
Yeah.
Have you met Carl?
I'd love to go to Newfoundland.
It sounds nice.
It does.
It sounds really nice. Become a member, damn it. The AOA podcast, you could support it for as low as $2.99 a month. You get fun, exclusive behind-the-scenes content. You get some little perks like merch deals and all this other stuff. If you haven't become a member yet, join right now. Link in the description down below. Like I said, for as low as $2.99, you can support the podcast, get some great fun content. We are going to be talking about this again moving forward. Obviously, next episode, we'll have some sort of an idea of what's happening. We'll probably be into the
hopefully
search and recovery.
They find these poor people.
Yeah, I'm not so hopeful, but hopefully
the next day. Yeah, I know.
But join us because we're going to be doing some fun stuff, behind the scenes, and we'll keep you updated with some little updates in the member area on this.
Subscribe too, just a subscription. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, just like A Joso I think did this episode. Let us know he subscribed. New subscriber, appreciate it. So we appreciate that. So anything you could do to help support us. Oval is out on Amazon.
Yep, sponsor this episode.
Book. Yep, there it is.
That's Frankie's wife's book right there.
Oval, a novel. So you check that out. A lot of great reviews for it already. I've read it twice, and it's a great read. So you could pick it up on Amazon. You can get the physical copy, like Anthony's holding up, or you could download the digital copy, the Kindle version.
We had a whole marketing campaign around, submerse yourself in Oval, and now we got to throw that out. So scrap that whole fucking thing.
So it felt a little
all the work. Yeah, it just stinks. At the beginning of the episode, maybe even before we got on the air, Frank is like, one topic, really? And it's been 90 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it, right?
There's a ton. I think this is our first episode where we only had one topic, and it took up the whole show because there's so much going on here. There's a lot of information, stuff I didn't even know they were doing tours to the Titanic. I didn't think anybody could really get down there. I thought we go down there every once in a while because we have the best equipment in the world to get down there. But apparently, this has been going on for a couple of years. You're gonna be a billionaire. I
feel like this always happens, but I was in the deli getting lunch, and they have like a TV on. Somebody walks in and is like looking at it, and they go, "What's this about? What is a submarine missing? Like what happened?" Like I'm like, "What?
Yeah,
where have you been?"
The number one story for the last 3 days.
Yeah, it's like taking over the entire world.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane.
I mean, unless you're Hamish's stepson, and then you're like, you seen the OnlyFans model,
right? That's his number one story.
That's number one story. I found a girl who likes me on OnlyFans. We're texting right now. It's great.
Boy,
he's probably like, you know how much sympathy pussy I can get out of this? That's probably why he's trolling OnlyFans so hard.
Right? That's probably it.
Fucking piece of shit. Dude, we didn't even get to everything, but I can't. I mean, they're being sued. There's fraud lawsuits.
They're being sued.
Yeah, there's all sorts of crazy shit still around all of this. Maybe we'll get to it. Maybe we'll get to some of it actually, we will get to some of it on the next episode. We'll get to whatever else, because this is, again, in 48 hours, we've learned everything we've talked about on this episode. Imagine what we're going to learn in the next 48 hours.
Exactly. And who knows? Hey, search continues. So they might find something. They're looking in that area where the sound, where they heard the tapping noises. So maybe something will come of that. I'm sure they have more technology and more advanced stuff than maybe even we were aware of. So who knows? I'm sure there's always a chance. I don't know what the odds are that they find this vessel, but there's always a chance.
Yes, there really is. Thumbs up, hit the bell. Thanks, Robin, for that. Yes. I like Gleben here. Fucking Chad Hamish. That's what we're going to call him from now on. We're not going to say Brian in his real name. We're going to call him Chad Hamish.
He is Chad.
Fucking Chad Hamish.
Damn it.
How thrilling would it be if they found this thing?
Oh my God. It'd be the story, story of the century so far.
It would be the story of the century, right? Yeah. Even if in 5 days, when there's no hope, if they found this thing, we'd all be like, I wonder if one of them is still alive. I wonder if one, we would all, from the time they said we found it to the time that they pulled the thing up, would anybody be able to tune away from that story?
Oh, absolutely not. It would be it's one of those, you're glued to the story, even if you're not like watching live news coverage, you're probably on Twitter or whatever you're on, just refreshing, trying to keep up with what's going on. I can't imagine the coverage. Everything would be covering it. There would be nothing else going on.
Nothing else. And like we said, stick with us because you get all the good information and some fun little jokes in between. Like this one from Aaron C., who says Blink-182 will be the poster band for the ungrateful stepsons. That's basically, they are the band for a generation of ungrateful stepsons.
They've been around for like 30 years, and this is
how they'll go.
This is what they're known for now.
That's how they're going to be remembered. Paul with the super chat, appreciate that for $4.99. The Empire State Building's pink tonight for Sex in the City. Priorities, Empire State Building. What the fuck?
Honestly.
Who's running the Empire State Building? Chad Hamish right now? I mean, what is going on?
I don't know how you light it up for something like this.
Fucking Sex in the City. The world has stopped looking for this submarine, and they're like, Carrie would love this.
Sex in the City?
I don't know why. It was like the anniversary. I don't know. Paul's responsible for this. He's got to answer. I think it might be the anniversary of the show, the first episode or something like that.
Great.
I think it was because we talked about last episode how the 2 other actresses that read for Samantha's part.
What show premieres in June? What the hell?
It is weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Over the summer?
Conspiracy.
That is weird.
Fucking Hamish's stepson's up there. Like, it would be good. Let's light this thing up pink for Sex and the City. It's my favorite show.
It's probably pink for the OnlyFans model.
Yeah. We need something to watch while we all sit here and wait. I mean, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, I gotta do something with the time here.
Fucking Chad Hamish.
Channel I get.
This is the only channel I get.
Chad.
I'm waiting for Paul now. He said 0. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Why do we know why the Empire State Building is lit up pink? I mean,
it's got to be. I don't know. I have no
what
idea.
The significance is of Sex in the City. I think it's the anniversary of when the show started. Who gives a shit?
There's no hatch on this thing. Someone wrote, Gail Gardner, a child supporter. I would hate to be the person that has to open that hatch. And then Lisa Lee Blue said there is no hatch. There's got to be, you got to open something, right?
I don't know. It's weird how they get in and it gets like nailed shut or something. I don't know.
Nailed shut.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
The hell is that?
It's nutty. I don't know.
All right.
Again, it is not everything. Like, it's like the Wright brothers plane versus a Boeing 747. Like the technological advancements that we're at today with airplanes versus that first one. This is the fucking Wright brothers plane.
Yeah, this is the one that didn't make it off that had all those. Remember all those wings?
To the 10 wings that just immediately crashed.
Yeah.
Right.
God, what are they doing?
Yeah. And Paul confirmed it is the anniversary of Sex in the City.
Yeah. There's got to be a Seinfeld. I don't know what color you would use for Seinfeld.
Shit brown.
Shit brown.
Yeah, because everything was kind of negative with them all the time. I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know. Chad Hamish.
Logo colors. What's the logo? Red.
It was always different colors, wasn't it?
Yeah. I guess there's no real significant colors there.
Yeah.
But again, we're keeping an eye on this thing. I hope you guys, I'm sure everybody is, but we'll get you as much information as we can. Hopefully,
in a fun way.
Hopefully it'll be a positive note. This thing will end on a positive note and they'll be able to find these people alive and well. That's the hope. I know that it doesn't look great right now, but there's always hope.
You have to hope, right? I mean, that's what the Coast Guard guy was saying today. They're like, they kept wanting him to say, like, we're not finding these people. But because like that was every media question. And he's like, we're hopeful. We're search and rescue people. We're always hopeful.
If there was no hope,
you have to be.
What are we even doing here?
What do you even do? You wouldn't even be trying so hard. So
yeah, there's hope. If there's oxygen left, then there's hope.
Like I said, even if it was 5 days past the time they're not alive, you're still like, there's still going to be a little part of everybody that goes, oh, I wonder if one of them, it's some miracle, figured out a way to survive. So, all right, that's it for us, everybody. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Frankie C, you're brilliant as always.
Thank you, sir.
Hope Jay Saps feels better. Join, become a member, get a copy of Oval. Link for both in the description below, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Show me potato salad.
Maybe we should go now.